Welcome back, everyone. We're now going to talk about Chapter 8, which is personal selling skills. Basically, the idea that's adopted in our textbook is that selling is an extension of the marketing concept. I'm sure getting this far into it, you are definitely seeing that. Basically, the long-term survival is in the best interest of the salesperson and their company to identify the customer's needs and the customer's buying decisions by selecting from product range those products that are best reach the customer's requirements on it. The sales interview is going to give you an unparalleled opportunity to match behavior to the specific customer interaction that's encountered. This is called adaptive selling on it. The salesperson is going to adapt their approach according to the specific situation. And this has been found a growing way of conducting sales interactions on it. Salespeople have an opportunity to implement unique sales presentations tailored to the individual customers and to be able to rapidly adjust their messages to the customer's reactions on it. Basically, it's not to deny the personal persuasion on it, but the job of the salesperson has definitely changed from the old adage of a used car salesman being a slick, fast talker on it with confidence and basically unrealistic views of the world on it, trying to talk you into something. That's hard to get as far as any type of repeat business, and people just do not like that type of selling for any longer on it. Basically, the book has characterized customer-oriented selling as the desire to help the customer make a satisfactory purchase decision, to help the customers assess their own needs, to offer products that will satisfy those needs, describe the products accurately, avoid descriptive or manipulative influence tactics, avoiding the use of high-pressure sales techniques on it. So an important ingredient, obviously, in the customer-oriented selling is the ability to read the emotions of the buyers. This involves identifying, understanding, and responding to the emotional messages as they are expressed in their facial expressions. As part of the assignments for this week, I do have you taking a body language test. It's going to maybe include other body language parts that aren't specifically facial on it, but it gives you a good chance, and I think a salesperson needs to be able to read the customer's mind. The nonverbal communications are always going to be the truthful communications from the customer. So those are the ones that you really need to be cognizant of when you're in your sales presentation on it. So the sales manager also needs to be very good at understanding the customer's emotions and their buying signals. And salespeople, and I know I've always felt this in my own situations, but salespeople that perceive that their sales manager is highly customer oriented and highly adapted, they'll find themselves becoming even more customer oriented and more adaptive, and I believe you'll do a better job for your sales manager also. Some of the techniques that can be used for successful selling are obviously asking questions, providing product information, making comparisons, and offering evidence to support those claims, acknowledging your customer's viewpoint, agreeing with the customer's perceptions, supporting the customer, releasing some tension, making it an enjoyable, fun experience for everyone, having a richer, more detailed knowledge of the customer, increasing effort always is going to result in more successful selling, and having a confidence in one's own ability. Some of the key characteristics of salespeople that are desired by buyers, and in some of our forums you've talked about too, what it is that you like to see in a salesperson, and some of these obviously have been brought out before, but expertise in the company's products and their market, good communication skills, being able to solve problems, being able to understand and satisfy the buyer's needs, being very thorough, attention to detail. I think that that is something that's very critical, especially if you are dealing a business to business, and if it's a highly detailed customer. Like I said, I've worked with both Sanford Health and with Avera. Very critical that you get physicians' names correctly. If a physician has left, that you get that information updated. Phone numbers and addresses obviously need to be correct, especially when you're dealing with something like the Yellow Pages. If it only comes out once a year, it's one of the beauty of the internet is that we are able to change something in a matter of minutes. But with the phone book, if there was a mistake, it was out for the year on it. And then also your ability to help in ensuring the reliable and fast delivery of the orders. Personal selling process. This might be a little bit oversimplified for real life practice, but it does definitely give us the framework that's going to identify the key skills in selling in a cohesive manner on it. But basically, you're going to have your opening with your first impression. You never can change anyone's first impression. So obviously, very important that you're prompt and on time. I'm always a big believer of having an appointment. I just think it's very professional. Even if the customer, I always had several too that said, I'm here, come anytime, which is fine, but at least that they can expect that you're coming. But be prompt, be dressed neatly, and dress for the appointment. As I mentioned in my introduction, I would see everyone from an auto body shop on up to one of the hospitals. So I tried to dress accordingly. It's difficult to not overdress for a customer. That might intimidate them. But then again, like I said, if you're going to a hospital, I feel that you need to be dressed appropriately, be as businesslike and professional as you possibly can on it. If you're sloppy, it shows that maybe you aren't really showing the respect for the customer. And for your introduction, kind of let them guide it. Basically, have a question or make a statement that is something about their business or something business oriented. If you maybe have worked with the client for quite some time, maybe you're a little bit more on a social aspect, and the conversation can go that way, but let the buyer make that decision as to which direction the conversation is going to go. And be respectful of their time also. They also are very busy and have a lot of other things on their plate, so it's important that you acknowledge that and be respectful of their time. So you also need to attention to detail. If you've got your computer bag or your briefcase in your left hand, so that way when you go to do a handshake, it's not awkward on it. And it's interesting, and I've kind of just tried this too as a test. The book had talked about that one of the cardinal sins, especially for retail people, is just to ask if I can help. Can I help you? Being a cardinal sin, just opens it wide up for the person to say, no thanks, I'm just looking. But I tested this out just the last week too, just to see differences on it. And when a client would walk in, if they were looking for specific product, I would ask, what can I help you with SkinMedica, or what sort of SkinMedica products are you looking for? And it definitely opens up for conversation. So that's a great tool to use on it. So important too, as far as the need and problem identification. Car salesmen are going to have several different models of cars as far as with size, economy, luxury, and so they need to identify to the customer what it is that they're looking for. Your presentation and demonstration obviously is going to be very important on it. We'll talk about that more in depth, but your demonstration is going to of demonstrating the value and the benefits. A simple way of relating the features and benefits to a sales presentation is to link them with the following phrases of using which enables you to, for example, if you were a real estate agent and you said the house is situated 4 miles from the company where you work, which would be your product feature, which means you can easily be at work within 15 minutes of leaving home, the customer benefit on it. When they see the benefit and how they see how it's going to change their lives, it's going to make them much more apt to step up to the purchase. They can see how it's going to change their lives. Reference selling is involving the use of satisfied customers in order to convince the buyer of your effectiveness of the salesperson's product. That's done a lot as far as with car sales, with real estate sales. If you have a good review, it's definitely a good way to get the word out to them, and they'll feel more confident about making a purchase from you. Demonstrations, the Chinese proverb, tell me and I'll forget, show me and I remember, involve me and I'll understand. Demonstrations also are a good way to reduce the risk of, because it shows that they prove the benefits of the product on it. So with a pre-demonstration, obviously you need to be very well prepared for your demonstration. You need to make the process as brief as possible. If you walk in with your computer and the customer thinks it's going to be a long drawn out presentation, it's going to turn them off. So you need to make sure that you're as brief as you possibly can. Make it as simple as possible on it, so that maybe the potential customer is not as computer savvy or technical minded as you might be. And rehearse your approach of any kind of a likely objections with your colleagues. That's always good, because if you practice your objections, then you are prepared when they come to you in real life on it. You need to make sure that you know, obviously, your product selling points and be prepared to advance those during your presentation. And then if the demonstration should not go wrong, if it's been adequately rehearsed, but just in case that you are planned for any problems at all on it. So some of the advantages of the demonstrations are a useful secondary tool in your selling process. When you get a potential customer that's actually participating in the demonstration, it's much easier for the salesperson to ask some questions while they're in the process of the demonstration on it. The customer's objections are going to be much easier to overcome if they're participating in the demonstration on it. So it's going to be easier for the customer to maybe actually visualize this product working out for them. Any purchase inhibitions that they maybe had will be overcome on it. And once that they've participated in the demonstration, they're probably much more likely to take advantage of, step up to the bat and make the purchase on it. A couple of other things that also can help to make them feel more comfortable is that if you offer any sort of guarantees of your product reliability, of your after-sales service and delivery that's supported by penalty clauses, so that they know things are going to arrive on time and that they will be fixed if there's any problems on it. Also, if it's a company and there's maybe a large order, possibly a trial order might be a good way to introduce them to your product. They can try it for a small amount of time, see how they like it, and could step up to a bigger order on it. When we talked about objections, you are going to get objections, and you always need to be prepared on that. Many objections mainly are expressions of interest by the buyer. What the buyer is really asking for really is just for some further information as to what the salesperson is actually saying. The internet has done a great job also of educating the customers. People are much more researched and knowledgeable actually before they even get into a lot of buying situations on it. They can take a look at your website, and particularly if there's some potential customers that see some favorable reviews on your website, that's always an excellent way to go. So you want to make sure you have a website too. That's a good selling tool that you need to make sure that your website, what's on there, or if there's any reviews, if there's anything that's negative, you need to make sure that you contact them right away and handle that. The intention to purchase levels ebbs and flows throughout your presentation on it. So the buyer is going to be thinking of different questions. They might be very excited about buying. Maybe you say something, the buying would maybe go down a little bit. So it does go up and down over time. So if you can certainly do the trial close, like I mentioned, if you feel that it's at a peak and the customer is ready to make their purchase. In closing for the sale, you can always just step up and ask for the order if you feel confident that they're ready to buy. You can summarize, go over what you talked about, and then you can ask for the order. You can have the alternative close on that. The alternative close would be, did you want that car in red or blue? Or what day would you like us to set up for delivery on it? The action agreement on it that we both agree. Key is to moving forward on it with your persistence. The objection close, whether you choose to answer any sorts of objections on it. And then always is the concession close, which basically we will give you a 25% discount if you sign up for the sale today. That wraps up Chapter 8 and the selling process on it, and we will move on to Chapter 9. Thanks for listening. In your negotiations, there's all sorts